either this is all is just a small tutorial on how to make custom map palettes, because some people are interested in making them, so it's actually very simple to do. First, I'll open our ROM called Palettes Are Fun to see what palette we'll be replacing. And I've just got a simple map with simple events here, so we can see that. Let me turn that audio off real quick. Anyway, we can see we've got this castle here, green grass, blue tiles, and an orange carpet and throne, and Body of the Beast, but he's irrelevant. Anyway, so let's say we want to change. You can see the throne and the carpet are the same colors, so let's say we want to change them to green maybe, and we're gonna change these tiles right here to purple and the grass to blue. Not that that makes any logical sense, but you know, this is for demonstration. Anyway, first we will need to open Nightmare. So let's go ahead and get that open, because the first thing we need to do is find out where the graphic and palette of the tile set is located inside the ROM. And let's navigate over to our ROM. Palettes Are Fun. And you actually need to do no editing Nightmare side for this. It's all GBA-GE. So let's go into our chapter data editor and go to the prologue and take a look at the palette, which is Plains and Castle Bright, and the tile set is Plains and Castle. So now what we'll do is go into the event references, not the CG editor, however, and from here we will search for Plains and Castle. Here we are. So it's located at 346F4 nil, and we'll make a note of this at Notepad. It's very important to document everything you do, so that way if you screw something up, then you can go back and fix it. Or if you want to return to something later, then you will know how to do it. So this is Plains and Castle with the Bright palette. Now we can close Nightmare and go into GBA Graphics Editor. Now we will open our ROM, not Calcifi. Here we are, Palettes Are Fun, and ignore the backup. It's just that second copy is just a backup. Now we'll open the image control and palette control windows here, and copy paste the things we wrote down here, which will give us this. Now you might notice this palette right here is only the palette for the forests and the grass and stuff, but actually the palette index determines what palette you're viewing. For example, this one is the palette of the walls and some other stuff too. This has the chests and the throne and so on. So keep the index at 0, and we will save as a bitmap, and we'll save it as something descriptive such as plainsandcastle.png. Maybe Plains and Castle Bright, so that's the one we're replacing. And now we will go to this file and open it in Ucenti. It's very important that you use Ucenti to open it, because, oh my, this is a large window. I've made the recording screen a little bit small so you can see what I'm doing without having to squint at your screen. These colors right here are the palette, so if you open it with paint.net or something, then it might screw these colors up, so be sure to use Ucenti or something else to keep the colors in order. Now you can notice we've got the first palette index right here, the grass and the forests and stuff, which is great. But since we're going to try to edit the colors of the throne and the carpet first, just for simplicity's sake, what we want to do is hit this button that says 16 right here. It gives us a red dot here, which means that wherever you click on this grid, it changes whatever 16 colors is used. And this is how an FE map has the illusion of using more than 16 colors. It actually just does use 16 colors, but it uses multiple palette indexes so that it can use quite a bit more colors than 16 in total. So let's navigate to the place where the throne and chests are, which looks like this. It's also where the carpet is, because it has the same colors. So let's use the throne as our template, I guess. So if you use the color picker and pick... This looks like the darkest color, so to speak, right here. And you have the red, green, and blue values, which you can change to make a new color. So let's say 7, 5, 11. Yeah, that gives us a nice purple. So let's change the rest of these and see where that gets us. I'm not going to be too perfectionist with these, since they're for demonstration purposes. Mostly we just want to lower the green and raise the blue. Ooh, it's kind of a plum color right there, I like that. Sure, we can do it. Okay. That isn't bright enough, so let's increase things a little bit more. Whoops. There, that's good. Now there's one more shade of this orangey color, this boring brownish orangish color that everything originally was. So as you can see, this has changed the colors of the throne, the chests, and the carpet, which all share the same palette. And all of these tiles look like they could work on this palette. They actually don't use that palette. They use this one instead, this blue. And we'll get around to changing those later. But let's just worry about the throne and chests and stuff for now. Okay, so we've got those things changed to a nice purple. Let's change the yellow trim on them while we're at it. We'll give this somewhat of a greenish color, just to prove our point, so to speak. And we've got one more brownish looking color here. Whoops. Okay, that looks good. And there was one more orangish looking one hiding from us all along. Okay, that looks good. So now, after we're done editing and we want to save, always make sure to switch back to the first palette index and unclick the 16 button. So that way you save everything in the right colors. So now, why am I in System 32? Oh well, we will save this in the same place where we were before, just for simplicity's sake. And we'll save it as Plains and Castle Bright 2 because we are so creative. It's important to keep a copy of the original in case you screw up your new one, so I advise you keep a copy of the original. Now what we do, we're at the same image with the same palette in GBA/GE, and we click Import a bitmap, but we uncheck Import Graphics, and import just the palette. So we don't bother with the graphics, only importing this Plains and Castle Bright 2 palette. So let's do that. Okay, it confirms our palette right here and shows us everything. Now we will save. All finished. And let's see what we've done in VBA. And look at that, now the carpet, throne, and chest are in that purple and green color. And that's just about the basics of palette editing. Now you can edit anything you want. But let's take this a bit further. Now if we want to... Let's edit the grass and forests now, just for an example. I think I will make them, yeah, I said I'm going to make them blue, just to give an obvious change. So I'll get these all blued up and be right back. Okay, so now that our grass and our woods are sufficiently blue, let's save our progress once again, and go back to our GBA/GE, and insert this once more. Import a bitmap, make sure always to uncheck Import Graphics, only leave palette checked. Now we're all finished, and the changes show up, so we will save. Now let's go into our good old ROM. Okay, it looks great, except for if you'll notice on these walls right here and the road here, the grass has not been changed. And Over here it's fine. On the edges of these walls it isn't though. And that's because each 8x8 tile has its own palette, so that the yellows and whites and stuff used in these roads, they actually have a few greens for the grass that makes this weird, ugly tile looking border appear, as well as these walls which have their own green color to have the illusion of grass. So let's go to their respective palettes and fix them up real quick. Okay, as you can see, this green palette inside this palette index is very clear. So let's change this to a good old blue. That ought to look good enough. And here's the palette index of the roads. As you can see, they have their own shades of green. So let's change them up. That looks like it should be good, but we'll change these border parts so that they will look better contrasting with that blue grass. Hey, bluegrass, I guess we're in Kentucky now. Okay, so that should be good enough. So now we will save once again, go into GBA-GE once again, open our ROM once again, open the image control once again, insert our palette with no graphics once again. Very important to always remember, uncheck import graphics, because you don't need them for now. Finished. Save. And palettes are fine. Okay, now as you can see, the walls as well as the roads blend in with the blue of the grass a little bit better. We could make it a little bit better. I made the grass on the walls a little too dark, but we're not going to worry about that for now. I also missed this shade of green to the left of the wall here, but we're not going to worry about that. Okay, so we've got the basics of palette editing down. We've got our blue grass and our purple and green chests and thrones and all that. So now, let's say we want to change the design of one of these pillars. For example, you do not like this yellow color and want to change it to something else. It's slightly easier said than done, which is why I'm going over it. Now, it's still pretty easy, but as I said, slightly easier said than done. So let's exit our ROM. I actually forgot to do that. I'm surprised nothing terrible happened. Things seem to blow up when you open them in multiple programs, so no one's surprised. Now, let's get to... Okay, so here is our palette for our walls, which is also the palette for our pillars, and for this tapestry-looking thing right here, which is occasionally used in maps. You'll notice that it's only the left piece here, but it's mirrored to be the left and right in-game. So, this shade of dark yellowish right here, let's see what happens when we change it around a little bit. So you can see it is used in a few more places in the wall palette, namely in these bricks as well as the tapestry and the pillars. So be wary whenever you are changing things or adding your own little custom touches, because where you change one thing, 5 other things might get changed. So let's say we want to make this a beautiful red color. How about red orangish? We haven't really done that yet. And this color, it seems to be used in a few more things than the previous one. If you look, it will modify these tiles right here, as well as the stained glass window, but we should still be good editing it. So let's make it nice and bright. Okay, that should be good. Now, we also had this tile for our other pillars in our map. So if we want to edit it to maybe add a bottom to it, It's very simple. It's as simple as it looks, in fact. You just edit it straight in Uxenti. And let's add a dash of blue to it to illustrate our point. So there we go, and now we have some blue. Let's see if we can't add one more shade. Let's see, where is that green shade on the wall I forgot to replace? Did I forget to replace it? For the life of me, I can't find it. Ah, here it is. Now, 21, 22, 11. As you can see, when we change this color, it changes quite a few things on the walls. It's just another color for trim used on them. So be very careful when you're using colors that are already used, because you might end up, using something that's very much in use somewhere else. So anyway, I suppose we will leave this one thing as not blue for now. Although maybe we can make it work. For example, this tile used for shadows is already a little bit purplish, so let's decrease it a little bit to make it a little bit more blue. There, that's okay. Now we will put this all in here. And if you will recall, the blue color used for the grass on the walls here actually needed to be made lighter to fit with the grass better. So let's do that now. And now we will add a little bit of it to the pillar. You can see it still isn't very contrasting with it, so let's make this color a little bit lighter, and the shadow color a little bit darker. Maybe a little too dark there. That ought to do it. Okay, I can't be left editing this for too long, or else I'll just get into it and become palette editing McKee over here. Okay, that looks good for now. So, as always, go back to your first 16 colors in the palette before unclicking the 16 button. Save it once again. It's actually somewhat important that I show myself repeating all of these steps, because it really does matter that you don't miss anything. And make sure that you check import graphics if you're actually going to import some graphics, Skull. Thanks. Now then, now we'll see if our graphics actually work when we actually import them. Guess what I forgot to do on the first cut? Okay. And our pillar still isn't working. Now, let's take a look at the graphics in GBA-GE, because this is something important that I missed. You can see this pillar has not changed at all, which means that it avoided the graphics insertion because the new graphics were bigger than the old graphics. So, you may run into problems if you uncheck this. It'll override whatever is directly ahead of it if it's bigger than the previous graphics were. So, for example, if the fields tile set was located right after the plains and castle tile set, we would need to find a new location for the fields tile set and reinsert it there, or just make our graphics work within the size constraints, or else our fields tile set is going to be broken. So let's not worry about that for now, and insert it. And actually, I will show some good modding practice here and make another backup in case something goes awry. So without the graphics, without abort graphics, if new graphics are bigger than old checked this time, let's insert it and see if we notice this pillar change. You see it changed this time, so our new graphics are in. Now let's go and see the definitive tile set extraordinarissimo. Alright, now as we can all see, our pillars now have these little blue gems inside them. They could use a little bit more work, but perfectionism can do for outside the video tutorials. Our walls still have a little flecks of blue in them, but they look a little bit better than before, and orange as well. So we've got our orange pillars, our purple carpet and throne and chest, and our blue grass and trees. So that's just the beginning of palette editing. That's only the beginning of what you can do. You can change the colors of the walls too, the colors of the tiles. You can even change the colors of the player and enemy units, even though that isn't really map palettes at that point. Maybe I'll go into more palette editing later. And that's about all I've got for now. So thank you very much for watching. And I hope this was helpful.